All right. Hi, good evening. Welcome
You
to
look low in token, boy.
Hey Richard,
Look low
welcome
in
to
token.
another edition of our Live. We are live, and so yes, I am talking, Richard. It's good to see you. Um, I think my video is doing a slight weird thing. Let me make sure it's fine. All right.
I
Hey
get.
guys,
I get.
welcome to another edition of Teleios Power Hour. Power Live. I hope you can
Just
see
get
me
my
fine.
head.
Can you guys on the call see my video?
But I'm not hearing Owen.
Oh,
No, we can't. Not yet.
you're not seeing my video yet. Uh, oh, I think it's because it's trapped under the presentation. Um, Let me stop this from running. The app I'm running, guys. I'm sorry. It was actually grabbing my camera, my front camera. So maybe it should be fine in a little bit. How about now, Ryan? Are you guys seeing me?
No, we're not.
Um,
Not yet, no.
Great. I think it's going to come up in a few seconds. Yeah, I had to stop the application, which is using the front camera to present right now. So good afternoon, guys. Welcome to another edition of Teleios Power Hour. Glad to join you and present some cool innovations we were taking a look at here at Teleios. So if you remember the URL, that you may have seen a URL we shared about what we're doing today, at using artificial intelligence to provide uh, information that's useful in a customer service context. Uh, we we tend to use a lot of APIs and web services here at Teleios that we ourselves write and also are provided by other persons. These particular APIs, the Microsoft Cognitive Services group, just last week, they released for general availability their their services that are targeted for artificial intelligence under the whole group, grouped under the title Microsoft Cognitive Services. Here's a URL. I'm going to present it now, so you can see a bit more of what that is. Setting up the share screen. Great. So we saw that the cognitive services team released APIs that let you get access to AI services that are focused on things like computer vision, face tracking, uh, and content moderation. So as you can see here, this URL is, I have to find a better place to provide it, but up here, it shows you it's available in the Azure site. I guess if you just searched for Microsoft Cognitive Services, you would find this. And another APIs that allow you to do things, for example, like detecting human faces, making comparisons, grouping them based on visual similarity. Um, uh, Using the computer vision API, you can also use tools to understand the contents of images and tag. And of course, all this stuff then means you can enrich existing applications or provide a lot of dynamic power in new applications as it relates to understanding what is presented in terms of pictures and videos. So we saw that and we were thinking, how could this be used? And went ahead and had some troubleshooting. So Teleios Power Hour Live is just one episode that we present, but typically every week we have an internal running of Teleios Power Hour where we describe technologies we have used or been introduced to and share. It's just a time for us to share, and we thought, hey, let's share this with the rest of the world. For this episode, we thought, how could we use the Face API? And one of the ideas that came to mind was, well, since the Face API provides information about the or video being viewed, maybe you could use information in some meaningful way. And we thought, well, why not use the information uh, coming back from the API to provide feedback about customer service engagements? Because one of the things the API provides is a possible set of emotions that a particular image may contain. So a picture of me right now may say I'm looking surprised, or I have a bit of contempt, or I'm angry, or I'm happy. So we built a small website that actually sends it up the API and gets back the result. And we're talking about using that today. So in terms of getting started with that, the technologies we're using involve ASP.NET and .NET Core. A slight note on that. I was just saying to the guys here at Teleios, we've most of us have been doing development for a little while now. I've been doing development for about 10 years or so, maybe a little longer. And in that, when that started for me, there's no .NET Core, just .NET and Visual Studio. And essentially for me, writing an application of this nature, web app, would have involved going to Visual Studio, pressing F5, and the thing running. Going to Visual Studio, new project, new solution. It would build, it would run, and I'd be good to go. But now the stack and the tools around it have changed. And so for over the last few years, I've started to appreciate that what it takes to build a modern, maybe more than tools I was exposed to over the years gone by. And so for this particular solution, I experienced that upfront, because this we chose to build it out using ASP.NET Core, Angular, and TypeScript. But before we go into what actually was built, I kind of want to show us what tools we use and how the thing was built. I kind of want to show us what the thing actually is. So let me present screen one more time. And I may actually lose camera as a result of this. So hold on. So I'm going to turn my camera off and present screen. Oh. So this is just VS. I'm just going to start the application. So while I'm starting up for this solution, I used Visual Studio 2017, along with, as I said, it's a .NET Core solution, and I use a solution template generator that was built inside of Human, and I'll kind of show a bit of that a little later on, just to give you a bit of context for what you'll see. Still building. So you see, it's build succeeded. Build succeeded is also incidentally the tagline we use at Teleios Code Jam. It's what the build team uses to describe our work. Anyway, enough of that. So you should see this script debugging stuff started off. So one of the things I saw when doing this is other things. If I modify the client, it will actually automatically update this browser and this browser window, which I found was pretty cool. So if I go to VS and I change some JavaScript or I change some HTML, it will automatically reload this page, which existed for a while, but actually using it here was pretty jive. I was showing it to Akash and he was like, "What's has been around for a while. Calm down." But it was still cool. So anyway, just letting this thing load. Yeah, it was vibes. Still loading. Let me make sure I have no debug symbols anywhere. Nah, nothing there. Just loading up. So I guess I can say while that's loading up, the solution that I got I have to say God because the starting point for the solution for me wasn't from, I didn't go to Visual Studio and say find a new project. I actually used a tool called Yeoman, and I went to Yeoman and downloaded a template that featured Angular 2, TypeScript, and .NET Core. And I essentially said to the generator, create this. I said, at the command line, yo, ASP.NET, whatever, and it made a template that contained the starting files you saw. We'll come back to that. So here's the page, and as I said, we want to use the Face API today. So we built this solution that will use the camera via the web page. So via the web page, we'll ask for access to the camera, and my machine, my surface has two cameras, a front and back, and it'll present the front by default. And from there, if I choose to take a photo, it'll take a photo and then send that to the Face API. So taking a look at that now, there's the camera access. So I needed to turn off Hangouts before I got going here. And now I can just say take photo, and it should evaluate in a little while. What is this on my right? You see a list of emotions coming back from the Face API. So according to the API, I have a bit of anger, a bit of contempt, a bit of disgust, but I'm mostly neutral. So, and a bit of sadness and that kind of stuff. If I were to smile and then choose take photo again, hey guys, you see my happiness index jumps up quite a bit. So how do we do this? So let me stop screen sharing. And just to talk about this some more, I mean, I can change it to go to the back camera, but there's nothing interesting there. But imagine you're someone who's in a customer service context and you have a surface up, you can point the camera to them and essentially just say, start polling, start taking photos and sending it up. This is not useful because it's using my back camera, which is essentially produces no results. So let me stop it. Select my front camera and say start again. So as I just converse and look at this video, it should be polling, and it does it every 5 seconds. Reason being is using the Face API, you have access to 30,000 free requests for the month. And you have access to 20 requests per minute. So I just make sure that my polling code doesn't break those rules for the moment. So notice the indices are changing as it examines my face and throughout the conversation. So you can imagine flipping the camera around and having it pointed at the customer, and the CSR now, not just the CSR, but this data is being captured to share with people who examine these relationships and interactions, to then ask questions of the CSR, maybe ask, what were you saying to the customer? Look at the CSRs who get a lot of happiness responses versus those who get a lot of anger or contempt, and understand how to deal with that. So let's stop this for a moment and kind of go backwards into how this tech all came together. So I'm pulling up Visual Studio and share once more. First things first, how did I start with this code? So this is a typical VS solution. Let me pull up my console. I have Node running on my computer, so maybe you need to install Node first. And along with that, I use this template. So my starting point wasn't, as I said, a fresh VS solution or an empty solution. It was just to use this template to kind of get familiar with the technologies I mentioned: Angular, .NET Core, TypeScript 2. This is Angular 2, so it gives me all this stuff to start off with. And from there, this basic solution presents a few views and a client app that works in Angular and it works out of the box. I focus much of my changes on this component, the home component, and modified that. Just essentially, these two files are where I spent much of the time making changes to make that simple demo. So it felt like a really good place to get the template up and running. I use, as I said, the Yeoman template generator. It could generate quite a few things, not just .NET things or .NET Core things, .NET solution templates. There's templates for Java and for Ruby even, and for other languages, Python included. So if you want to get a start on a project, you have to start from scratch, Yeoman, and get up to speed. So moving on from that in terms of this particular solution, knowing that I'm focused on the component, the home component HTML file and the TypeScript file, I just modified the HTML. The key things I was stuck in here, the video element and the canvas element. Using those two elements, when you see me say take photo, grabs a photo from the video at that point in time, and zoom in on this. Grabs that photo from that point in time and creates a byte string out of it, and then sends that up. Scrolling by a bit too quickly. So I'd grab my photo, then get some details about it, then draw that into the canvas. So notice there was the video element and the canvas element. Turns out, when you're doing this, so you're doing this fairly quickly, it's good to understand in some detail what's happening. Which was only happening when the canvas was on screen. So I spent quite a while understanding that if you were to hide the canvas, say to use a display none, or you to stick the canvas somewhere like -1000 left on top, it won't actually create an image. So you'd actually post a blank image up to the Face API. I spent most of last night ruining that decision to hide the canvas. But now I can tell you for sure you needed to display for this demo to work. So once that happened, I could then make the calls to the Face API. There's a how to use the Face API service. So I use those tutorials to understand what to post in terms of attributes. It's available at this site. As you can see here, a bunch of examples of how the Face API works. Yeah, so here's the description of what it is. As it says up here, the Face API is a cloud-based service that provides advanced face algorithms. So as said, its two main functions are face detection with attributes and face recognition. I didn't lean too much in for this demonstration about face recognition. I focused more on attributes around emotions. So there are a bunch of tutorials that you can get started with, including identification and attribute monitoring. So in this example, after I grabbed the image, I went ahead and made a blob, and it took a while to kind of figure out the content type stuff. But these params inside these URLs, and the emotions I wanted would have included emotion, age, and gender. Although in this example, I'm only using emotion. And I send that up. I'm using Angular too. I kind of went back and forth in terms of long time things, like the XML HTTP request to send up requests and get past the results. Making the call and then processing the results that led to the display of emotions. So you might be familiar with some of these this API and this approach if you remember the Howled.NET solution from I think just last year. Microsoft then was calling this Project Oxford. They were allowing users to submit a photo of themselves, and it would then guess how old the or persons in the photo was probably going to be. That on howold.net. So they essentially released that API in the wild for use. So we've demonstrated you could easily get face attributes from someone. You can get information about this person's. But what next? Any ideas, guys? Maybe Teleios guys, what we could do next with this data?
You could make it
Use it
less.
Go ahead.
You could make it less texty and probably see some images, emoticons.
All right. How would just coming back to that, Richard? I saw Ryan had said in our chat. One of the cool things with releasing an API like howold.net is that it's actually an easy way for a service provider to get information to train their APIs by releasing it to the public. Because once you release the API, you say, hey, the API allows you to if the API is wrong, and you can feedback to them, this thing was very wrong. Then they use that to train and get better at what they're doing. So I want to actually do something like what Richard just described. How would we do that? How would we change this to be less? Probably move the text and stick in some images. And you mentioned emoticons. I guess we could use emojis. How would we get that done in this code, guys? So what I'm doing here,
You can calculate this, you can figure out what's his strongest emotion and show an appropriate emoji for that emotion.
all right, we could do that. So notice here I'm pushing into the array of emotions, appropriately typed emo. The title of the emotion and the power, and this power is a number. So you could just find the biggest one, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Emo.
Hey, when we're not seeing your screen anymore. There we go.
No?
Yes, it is.
So incidentally, I've kind of used TypeScript on and off. I find TypeScript is real vibes. What do you guys think?
It's fantastic.
It's a thing of beauty.
Really?
Which version?
Nobody thinks it's trash? This is version
I
2.
do not think it's trash.
I really like to demonstrate that you could type code and make changes live. Like either my VS or my machine that's doing screen sharing along with doing this is complaining. If it doesn't work, I have to stop one of them. Right. So if emo power is, let's replace it, right? So before I save, I'm thinking So I want this to display across in the home component, probably next to that table, right? How do I do that? Let's stick what do you guys think about sticking a column next to that?
That's the best approach, I think. And row span equal 1 or 5 or whatever.
Oh, I don't need a row span. Why do I need a row span? So this is, let's, for the first instance, just display the actual email title, and we can change that to being an emoji afterwards.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, one step
So
at a
notice here
time.
I'm
I think
referring
that's a
to.
good approach.
So the points, guys, notice I'm referring to this guy called strongest emo, but I haven't defined him yet. It's so easy to type. Control S. I'm gonna slow things down. I'm sorry.
Clear your variables.
Yeah, of course. Up here. So I can then say,
Can we abuse that
like,
API key now?
yeah, for sure, you do what you want with the API, man. As I said, eventually the face API guys will stop you. 30,000 requests.
Well, we have some backup, so safe.
So we're safe, right?
We're safe. Yeah, for sure.
Ish.
And that 30,000
But
is per month, or is it like in life?
it's per month, I believe. That's it. The strongest emo, right?
Yes. Strongest emo.
I feel that's not it. Oh. This is something that I'm taking a while to appreciate, right? This here refers to it's in the context of this function, this anonymous function. So I need to use that. That's so worthless and amazing.
That strongest emo. Brilliant.
So let me head over to the page now. So notice it refreshed automatically. I can activate the camera once more. And it's still up, so let's hope for the best. And let's start and see what we get. I feel like I mashed it up. Let's check it out console and see what it's saying. So just starting up the JavaScript console. All right, I see a response here. I am getting responses. Doesn't seem to be useful. Let's stop it and see what's going on. Too many requests.
Too many requests.
Ooh, wow. Let's hold a stop, guys.
All right, let's switch up that key.
Yeah. Or it could be that my code to keep sending requests continued without me knowing. Like this is actually happening still, even though I'm not doing anything. My stop button isn't the best. And stop and start back. Error would calm down. Right, so let's run it again. In the meantime, I can actually show you where. So this is the Face API portal, and you saw too many requests a while before. If I reload this, it'll actually show me how things are going. So let's check out our quota. Oh, not bad, 449. So notice here it talks about generating keys and that kind of stuff. I could show both of my keys, but I feel that'd be unwise. So I
I
won't.
think it's a smart idea.
That ship
So
has
let's see.
sailed.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Just running our task runner before build completes. Once that's done, so really I stopped because I think the interval I had set was continuing to run without me knowing. So it should be back up in a bit once everything gets hooked together between Chrome and Visual Studio. Remember that time? I don't know if you remember, there was a time before now where when something was compiling, you could go have some coffee and be cool because, and if your boss was asking what you're doing, you can say, hey, the code's compiling. Now I can say, hey, the bug is wiring up forever. I think Ryan is reminding we heard it first in a Sheikh Yusuf's class way back in 2001 or 2 or something like that.
Hey,
Real
Owen.
chic.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, while this thing wires up, so you mentioned before that. Oh, wow. Okay, never mind. Handle the error.
Well, you might as well say it while I figure out this error. Carry proper title of undefined. Um, oh, I feel it may have to do with this guy here, right? So I think this ngf may be useful for this. Hey, what were you going to say, Akash?
Yeah, I was just saying. You mentioned that you couldn't get the request to go out if you hit the canvas element, right?
Yeah,
So did you try rendering to an off-screen canvas, as in create the canvas element but not adding it to the page and rendering to that?
I didn't. I didn't. That's probably a good way to do it.
Dum dum dum.
Strongest emo is what is undefined, Owen, not the title.
Right, but the title is a property of strongest emo,
Right, but strongest emo undefined now, hit null.
right?
That's why you
So
get any
what?
problem. You set it? Okay, fix it. Cool.
Well, I think I'm setting it. I'm setting it down in the down here. That strongest emo. So now it should be displaying,
Yeah.
but
All right.
ngf. Yeah, yeah, but we don't know. We don't know. Nothing. Nothing. Maybe we could just give strongest emo default value.
I wonder what the strongest emo at this point in the core is.
You don't want to set a breakpoint.
Um, not really ish. Not really ish because I haven't actually figured out how to do it here, in the on the client side of things. Does that make sense? Alright, cool. Let's see what's going on here. Well,
Ah, well,
it's in a wonky. It's in a wonky place.
yeah.
Let's go again. So what is the actual strongest here? Neutral,
Yep.
but I do see this playing. So am I doing anything weird here for each prop? This emo here represents a property of the emotion object that got sent down. Oh, something is wrong here. The strongest emo can't be emotion. Strongest emo is emo. The whole object is this. It's essentially is this guy here. Does that make sense? So then I push here actual emo. Because this emo object here is actually a property. Nice. So let's see.
I just want to point out, if this thing was strongly typed,
Mhm.
you wouldn't have that
Yes.
problem.
It's kind of strongly typed. If it's not, it's because of my lameness on the TypeScript as opposed to what you're experiencing right now. You don't think so?
Friends will let friends use JavaScript.
All right, let's see. Take a
Friends
photo.
all our friends use PHP.
I use PHP a lot.
Oh, look down there.
This explains a lot.
It's
Well, it just got
great.
awkward.
So we have happiness down here. So it's just displayed
Ah,
poorly.
congrats. Yeah, it works.
Can you try a different emotion now so we can actually test it?
Yeah.
All right. To help me with that, uh, Aaron Yeklo, one of our members, he gave me these gumballs.
What?
So he said it should help with facial expressions. So I've never had it.
Challenge. Let's go live
I've
on Power.
I've, I've never had it. So let's hope for the best. So I just
Oh my
started the
goodness.
thing. So
You should do all
So-
three at once.
nope,
Oh, no.
nope.
Yes,
We
for
have to
sure.
test
All
the
three.
intensity. Oh, we must
So
test the
let's make sure-
intensity of the facial expressions.
We need to
So
ensure
before
we
I
get
even
a
do it,
positive result.
let's put this down. I want the emotion to actually display more easily. So let me just change this. Probably could make this large 1 and save. No, not yet. I'm not anticipating that whatever those sour balls are. That's lame. How do I make this less lame? Just reduce sizes all around. You know what? I'll just hide this. No, I don't want to hide it. I'm gonna leave it, guys. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place because I just want to see this thing display fine. I won't. I'm excited to try this thing here that Aaron gave us. So here
This
goes.
works. You can't see a camera yet. Oh, good.
Right. I guess let me say start. Let's make sure it's fine. Hey guys, how you going? Is everything cool? All right. It says I'm neutral, which is true-ish. Science. thankfully, wow, wow, that's horrible. Wow, that was gross. So thankfully, just one sec, guys. Thankfully, my neutral powers were able to defeat Aaron's horrible gumballs. Thankfully, but who did mention a while ago? You probably couldn't have heard it. He did mention that um, other emotions were rising, so it may be interesting to be able to plot those in a different way. However, I think we'll we'll stop there for now with this edition of Teleios Power Hour. Thank you for joining us. Oh wait, I'm sorry. We do have a news segment we wanted to share. There are segments to this thing, but horrible things just happened. Anyway, Ryan, feel free to share with us uh, this week's edition of Cloudy with a Chance of News. I'm going to stop presenting.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is another episode of Cloudy with a chance of news. So while checking out B Mobile site this morning to determine what data plan I currently have, I came across this plan here. I actually didn't find anything out that I was looking for, but this here caught my eye. Machine to machine plans. That was very interesting. So I went ahead and clicked on it. And here we are. This seems to be a plan targeted at IoT, I think. So what it's offering is I guess you can have a SIM card that has 500 up to 500 megs of data per month, and you can pay $75, and that is a top tier. You can
Excuse Ryan,
have
which part are you sharing?
It's showing now, Peter. It should be up now.
Okay.
click on my avatar, and you'll
Oh,
see
right,
what
right,
I'm
right.
what I
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Sorry.
Right. So yes, so there are three tiers. You can have 25 megs for $25 per month, 100 megs for $50 per month, and 500 megs for $75 per month. This means, of course, that you can have an IoT device with a SIM card in it, a B Mobile SIM card in it, with this plan attached to it. Pay $25 and send out, or I guess receive or send out. It isn't clear whether this is out or in, ingress or egress of data. So 25 megs of data of throughput, and rock on, make something fancy. This has been another episode of Cloudy with a chance of news.
Why that's pretty key. We weren't, good job, Ryan. We weren't necessarily anticipating or trying to give a bunch of free advertising to any one provider, but that's a pretty good move, especially like this week. It's on the heels of recently concluded here in Trinidad and Tobago a forum on IoT in the Caribbean. And one of the big things associated with the IoT, of course, is the ability to share data easily from devices in the field to servers and other recipients. So it was good to see that. That's good to know. If you're deploying devices and you want to have access to data, you don't have to purchase an unnecessarily expensive plan. And hopefully the other networks pick up on this and provide their own offerings. But good stuff, Be Mobile.
Yeah, there aren't any. They don't seem to be any plans on the digital network that offer data only. And
Okay.
one point to note as well, I would presume that the speeds on these plans aren't very fast. So
Yeah,
there we
yeah,
have it.
cool. All right, cheers. Thank you very much, Ryan. This has been another edition of Teleios Power Hour live. We had a good time talking about the Face API. There are a few more things we could have done, but maybe we'll experiment and just provide a URL later on in terms of accessing the code on GitHub or something. So thank you for joining us. Have a great week, everyone.
Outro music, please.
Boom, 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 boom.